If you're like me, once you start going through your stash, you realize very quickly that there is something that needs to be taken under consideration, and that is storage. And you also realize how vital it is for this journey. Hey friends, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Kim, and this is Lost in the Wool podcast, where we talk all things knitting, crochet, yarn, and related kind of fun notions. And currently we are building community through stashing down, being more intentional in our buying processes, and going on a whole journey together with different topics each week related to the series. And so this is this week's mini episode where we're going to talk about something that we realize pretty quickly when we start going through our yarns, and that is how important storage is for a knitter and crocheter, or both, or just crafter in general. But today we have a couple of topics that I would like to cover, and that is number one, how I store my yarn and tools in my craft room. Number two, systems that actually help me so I can stay organized and use my stash. And I know last week's mini episode, I kind of dove into that with my fingering weight yarns and the journey that they go on from one project to another. And many of you have shared some of your similar ways that you do that. And I love that. I think that was so cool. And I appreciate you for telling me about your journeys that your yarns go on. And then number three, we're going to talk about some affordable storage ideas, things that I have found that work really great for yarn storage that are maybe not your most conventional yarn storage, and some of them that just work out perfectly that you can find at big box stores around you. All right, so let me show you what my yarn storage situation looks like. But one thing that I learned really working through my stash is yarn storage does not have to be Pinterest worthy. I think sometimes we can get caught up in this Pinterest ideology where everything has to be perfect all the time. We're crafters. That is not going to happen. Talked before that I like to sort my yarn in a couple of ways. Number one, it always starts with the overall yarn fiber. Then I sort it by weight and then somewhat by color for the most part. There are some sections that it's not all in color, like the acrylics, but that's fine. Maybe one day I will sit down and do that. Probably not, though. I'm not going to lie to you. Because if yarn disappears in a tote somewhere for me, I tend to forget about it. The last video when we talked about whips and I was showing whips from my yarn tree, there were a few things that I put in the bags and maybe I didn't completely start on them. And Deborah, my friend, was like, why are you kind of counting a couple of those? And that is because I put the yarn in a bag with a palm like that Harry Potter yarn to knit a hat. And it's been like 3 years, 4 years. Has it been 4 years? Something like 3 or 4 years. And I put it on that tree and completely forgot about it. I had no idea where that yarn was. So that's why I really wanted to go through that and really get project pages made for all those works in progress. And for me, that was a vital step in my working through my whips. And I brought a bookcase over yesterday, or might have been the day before, from my mother-in-law's house. And it's this cute little wood bookcase here. So I got this bookcase and I was moving and I wanted to put some yarn here. And I was like, you know what? This is the perfect day to talk about yarn storage. I love things like this, and you can often find stuff like this on Facebook Marketplace is a really good place. I'm always seeing cute little cabinets like this. Other things to consider are things like this. This was actually once a rack to hold VHS videos that I spray painted gold, and it looks absolutely adorable. Other pieces of furniture to consider are little end tables that can have storage in them, or even plant stands that have storage in them. Because even this little side table I purchased at Aldi's But little coffee tables can always be found at yard sales for very cheap, and they're just great little cute fun ways to add storage into any space. Your area may even have a free group where you just kind of like swap out items in a trade. That's another great place to look for these. You know, Craigslist used to be great. I don't even know if Craigslist is still a thing. There's the neighborhood app. It's a great place to put, hey, I'm looking for something like this. If anybody has to get rid of, please let me know. All those are great resources to find little wood cabinets like that. And they're so cute and they add so much character to your crafting space. One storage solution I have out here that's probably my favorite and that you've seen in several videos is clear acrylic containers. And they can get very pricey as well, but you can also get very, very sneaky and smart on finding them because often the things that are manufactured for one particular area in your house doesn't necessarily mean that it has to say for that area of your house. For instance, these little turny things that I like to keep my hot teas in, these are actually something that I found in Aldi. But there is very comparable things to this often in the Target dollar spot, and even that can be found at the Dollar Tree for $1.25. And these are great to hold things like you can put glasses in there and then put your crochet hooks in a glass, and you can turn the table and have other different separations for some smaller notions. These little storage things right here, these are actually from the Dollar Tree. And whenever I see these, I pick up a couple because they're usually like 2 to a pack anyways. And I love to use these to sort things like stitch markers. And you can see in this one right here, I have some of my counting jewelry. So I have my counting bracelets for row counting. I use them for row gauges. I use them for odds and ends for amigurumi. So like for little glasses, I might pick up when I see them on clearance at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, and they're perfect for things like that. This little container right here is also from the Dollar Tree, and in this one I keep my little parts of my interchangeable needles. It's easy to access them and they're right there in the open, and they just work great for small storage solutions. Same way with these containers. I think these came from Target and they usually bring them back every year, but I was in Aldi today actually because I had to go out and buy groceries even though it was raining, snowing, and sleeting and coming like a snowstorm and cold. It was a hot mess. I looked over and lo and behold was my favorite yarn storage, and that is these acrylic bins. And the cool thing about these is number one, they have handles, which makes moving them around extremely easy. Number two, they are completely stackable and they sit in there well, so they're pretty sturdy. They're not going to fall over. And number three, once you have them stacked, you can stick your hand in the front and get out stuff without having to take all of them down to get what's in them. I love these things, and these things are only $7.99 a piece. Storage really should be at the forethought of our mind and not an afterthought. And so when I started planning my shed, 2 years before we even started building the shed, I already started thinking about storage solutions, and I already had my eye out for these. And that is when, about the same time when they built our local Aldi's. And so I went in one day and I saw these and I'm like, oh my goodness, these are perfect for leftovers and for organizing all my leftovers, acrylic and fingering weight yarns. So I started buying a couple. And what I would do, because I cannot afford to buy these all at once, I would go in and buy 2 at a time, 14 bucks. I would like eat lunch before I went and bought groceries, save that lunch money, and buy storage bins for my shed. And so I did that over a course of about 3 years. And that's how I've been able to obtain all the ones that I've had. Storage doesn't have to be something that you immediately gravitate to. You can, slowly work over time to finding storage solutions that will work for you. And Aldi's has these 2 or 3 times a year. And if your store is not someone that a store that sells these really well, then there's a big chance that you can actually see these get marked down and cheaper than $7.99. And I've had that happen. I was able to go in one time and no one had bought them, and they were marked down to less than about, I think they're around $4 a piece, which is amazing. So I bought several on that trip. And vertical storage is often something that we overlook. I've seen people that have these over-the-door vertical storage racks, and there's really nice ones out there. These would be great if you have a craft room closet door. I don't really have a craft room closet door out here, but when I had my yarn in the house, I did use something very similar. So looking at my bookcases, you can see one of those acrylic boxes from Aldi. And then you also see some more of these wire baskets. These are actually from Target from a couple of years ago, but they are great for holding yarns. And so I like to use them on my bookcases if I want to separate certain dyers. Like in this basket, I have all my Desert Vista dye works that I have left that I have not knitted up. I also like to use unconventional things to store yarn. So there's this planter up here. I have 3 of these planters. One's a lot larger and then there's a smaller one. But I wanted a way to kind of have something vertical in this bookcase. And this planter allowed me to do that. And also it's just cute and it just has a little bit of whimsy to add in the background and in my crafting space in general. So speaking of light and airy storage, this is another one of my favorite storage solutions, and this is a storage box. You can often get these from Hobby Lobby, Michael's, anywhere like that. This one is obviously kind of Christmas themed, but these things are great because you can easily put other papers on them and Mod Podge them, or you can find some floral ones, and these are great solutions if you are someone that likes to have your yarn out of sight, out of mind. You can get a lot of these that match, and it makes just decorative ways to hold your yarn on a bookcase. So it's easy to access, but it doesn't have all the its bits and pieces showing. You know, it kind of has like an aesthetic look for you. Now, let me tell you why I also love those so much. So let's say that you are a gift knitter or crocheter, and you can get you a cute little box like that and use it for the whip. Use it for like the whip box. Keep all your supplies in there. Finish the object. Use that to gift that object to the giftee. And you can even put like other little things in there and make it like a cute kit. They're just really great for that kind of thing. Then that person who received that gift now not only has this great storage box, but if they wanted to, they can store the item that you gave them in there, or they can use it for storage for something else in their house. So not only are you giving them a gift, but you're giving them another storage solution. Really is quite a few options out there of things that you can use in your crafting space at a variety of stores, and even unconventional things that you can pick up. I've picked up just random baskets like this one. I don't even know where this came from. It might have been Target from years ago. Even these tall hurricanes like this, I was keeping yarn in this one in here because there is holes so the yarn can breathe. And I just took it out today because I'm putting it in that little bookcase from Mammal's. This front door makes it easily to grab, but it just kind of made it like a little cute storage situation that kind of was a little whimsy and that I just love. Now, I mentioned in the last video that I love looking for glass containers for storage things in my shed. I love them. The hurricanes are so much fun for storing mini skeins. They're just a cute way to kind of have your mini skeins visible, and they just look aesthetically pleasing to me. Another great section to look at the thrift store is the glasses section. So you can often find bigger mason jars down there, and you can often find these really pretty decorative glass bowls. I find the most gorgeous glass at my thrift stores all the time. Like, it is my favorite place. This antique amber glass is absolutely perfect for holding some cute mini skeins. This is actually advent number 4. This was my first advent. I did the opal sock yarn advent. But this is really, really a great way to have yarn sitting out and have it in a cute container. I want to show you like an unconventional storage solution that I found at Target a while back. So this is this really cool O-plate container, and this is what I keep all the snippets of yarn. So whenever you undo a hank and wind it up, those little ties, they go in here. Whenever I sew in my ends and block a project, and then I go back in and snip all of those little ends, they go in here. And so this is actually an ice bucket. And it has a lid, and you can see it's double walled to hold your ice, but it makes the perfect container for all those little ends. And so I use these when I make little stuffies or amigurumis or even ornaments and I need stuffing. I'll utilize my little snippets and put them in. Sometimes I'll utilize these for eyes and like little mouse on amigurumi because some of them are a little bit longer and they're perfect for that. But this is what I keep all those little snippets in. And it's an ice bucket that I paid $5 for at the Target Red Spot. These are some more of the classic clear storage containers that Target sells. There's a variety of sizes and a variety of prices, and these can really help you organize your stash and your leftovers. But these little stackable drawers will be perfect for that, as well as these bins. I saw these at Target also. I really liked these wood containers. You just have to be careful with these that they don't snag your yarn. They're very similar to the acrylic ones that I showed you from Aldi. If I had a choice between the acrylic Aldi ones or these, I would probably go with the acrylic Aldi ones, although these tend to be a little bit bigger. And if you're using like something like a worsted weight yarn, you're probably not going to have issues with snagging as much. But if you had like a lace yarn or if you have some single ply yarn, I would definitely be worried about it snagging on the wood. These are another thing that Target sells. Aldi actually sells something very similar, and you can also find similar containers like these off of Amazon and off of Temu. The set I have in our kitchen is actually off of Amazon. It's this one right here. But these are great storage units, and some of these you can even have some that have wheels. So if you are someone who's crafting and you have to keep your yarn in a different room, you can roll it into the living room while you're working on it to get all your different colors if you're working on a multi-color project, and then push it back in the closet when you're done so it's out of sight and out of mind, but still be able to kind of see what's in there. I do want to take the time to give you a little bit update of what I've been doing this past week since we last talked as far as my own journey through this Stash Down series. And what I've done is I have gone through and made a project page for all my whips. You should be so proud of me. And on many of them, I did go ahead and put what project bag they're in the notes section. I love doing that. That way, when I open up the project, I can see where it is and I can go straight to my bag tree, grab it, and begin working on that. And that really helps me kind of like faster into grabbing the project and getting started, and not thinking like, okay, I have to open up all these bags and try to remember which one has what project in it. So that's a little tidbit of information that I like to utilize that note section for on Ravelry. Also, I began casting off that project that wasn't even my whip, it was somebody else's with that DMC crochet thread. That's about to kill me, y'all, but I've got 2.5 needles free, so I'm very excited about that. I only have the Knitter's Pride needle left and the one of the Addies that just has a few more stitches on it, and then that would be done. So yay. And as far as that blanket, I read through all the comments. I'm still getting comments every day, and I will try to get to everyone. I even try to reply to all of your comments when you reply to me, because I am really truly invested in the community and getting to know you and your crafting better. And a lot of y'all had said just to let that blanket go. and I am going to take your advice. So I am going to reach out to one of my local friends, see if they would like it. I have a couple people in mind, and if they want it, I'm just going to give them the yarn and the blanket, and they can either make it or they can frog it, whatever they want to do. But it's no longer my problem. And yes, I am still working on the yarn. I'm almost done working through that tote of yarn that I had, and I feel good about it. And what I've been doing is, as I've been going through that yarn, as soon as I go through it and create its yarn thing in Ravelry, I'm taking the time to look through my queue and through the patterns that I own and pairing it with a pattern right then. But I am still working through those yarns as best as I can. And as far as my stash number, that is changing a little bit. It is growing. Currently, I'm sitting at 1,785 yarns, and I still have a little bit to go. I think what Ravelry does is it counts each individual yarn. So I may have 4 of one yarn, but it only counts it as one yarn because it's a different, basically like UPC. So technically, I have more yarns than that. Especially when you start looking into sweater quantities, but that's fine. So before we get into the last little section of things that I've noticed at Target that I think would be great yarn storage, I have a question for you. What is the craziest place that you've stored yarn in? Because in random Facebook groups and stuff, I've seen where people have stored yarn in their trunks of their car to hide it from their spouse, or even in a refrigerator in their basement because it was just down there. So I'm curious, what is the craziest place that you've stored yarn, or your most unconventional yarn storage that you use in your crafting space? Take the time, please, to leave a comment down below so we can all read about it, because I think it's just so much fun to hear people's different storage solutions and to see what we can all come up with. Now, as we head out today, I'm going to leave you with some video of other storage solutions in my shed that may interest you. I thank you so much for watching and for chatting with me in the comments and helping me build this community. I'm so excited to see my little channel grow, not because of the numbers, but because that means that it's going to reach more people and more people can join in on the community and share their ideas with us and their love of yarn as well. So I hope you have a great week. I will see you Friday when we talk about pairing yarns to our patterns.